Shit's not uploading.
Is there? Usually, like the podcast I'm usually on.
Did you do the audio test for Julius?
We're about to right now. Yeah. Julius, what are you eating on right now?
I'm eating Shin Noodles. Spicy Shin Noodles.
Okay.
Delicious.
Harry, you want to tell him how disgusting that is for his body?
Hey man, I'm not feeling good just smelling it, so you're gonna have to get it out of here. No, I'm kidding.
Damn.
I think you'll survive.
I feel like that could have been like made 3 years ago. You just happened to buy it off the shelves today.
Oh no, I bought this case maybe like 4 years ago.
There you go.
They don't expire.
It's like
and then it was
astronaut
manufactured
food.
8 years ago. Yeah.
They don't expire.
How do they pull that off?
I mean,
Heavy
so
preservatives, some man-made technology for sure.
well, no. So there is an expiration date, but it says in fine print you could eat this years after expiration.
So
I'm
like
surprised they're willing to make
Yeah,
that
years
claim.
later when you're on your deathbed.
No, it's,
Yeah, I mean,
this is clean.
Cancer known to man.
I
If you
wonder.
drink this, it'll like burn through that in your gut.
I don't want
Because
that.
you're not even gonna digest that well, but
I don't even want that.
I know you don't.
So you think if you eat the noodles, you should superset it with the kombucha?
It's like it's not like oh do that every time, but like I'm just saying that this can help aid in digestion, especially things that aren't like made for humans to digest generally.
So you're saying this isn't made for humans to digest?
That's what they tell you it is.
Well, I've been
From
like,
a nature
fucking with
standpoint.
kombucha, I've been,
Feeling better?
I mean, like just trying it out.
Right, give it time for
At
sure.
first
It's placebo.
But
Yeah.
then it's like, okay, it's not bad.
You develop like it's definitely an acquired taste because it's like this weird alcohol vinegary like.
Yeah, once you get past the vinegar taste, it's like.
So
Yeah.
how often like should you consume this?
It really, I feel like I'm not educated enough to actually answer that perfectly, but it's like it really depends what you're trying to do. Like
Because I feel like you drink it a lot.
I do, yeah. It just keeps me feeling good, keeps my digestion going well. There's a bunch of benefits. If I'm like, okay, when I saw the biggest benefit from kombuchas when I first started drinking them, I would make a huge smoothie. I would train. I would drink the smoothie like right as I'm finishing training. So like all that sugar, like it's spiking my insulin, like it's sending all those like plant nutrients right to my muscle cells because like I just burned all that glycogen. So like all the sugar in the smoothie is getting absorbed. And I would drink this on top of it. It's hard to get like a big smoothie and this on top of it. But there's something about the synergy between like the acetic acid in this, which is like vinegar, and the alcohol, because like a lot of like the plant superfoods that are in the smoothie, they have like alcohol extract compounds that are only like bioavailable when it's extracted with alcohol. So I feel like there's this weird synergy. I would drink both, go in the sauna, and just feel amazing. And that's when it really had some like mental breakthroughs too.
Yeah.
When I was like doing that and minimizing like carbohydrate intake.
I feel like I need to get my digestion squared away. Not that it's like awful, but I feel like I don't do shit. See Chick-fil-A daily.
Yeah. If there's a few things you can do, it's just like maybe drinking like one of these like 2 to 3 times a week, or adding in some sort of probiotic. Like my favorite's Good Belly probiotics because it's just like a little juice shot.
Yeah.
And like it depends on the strain. There's so much to it, like the different strains of bacteria and shit. But yeah, I don't know. Like when I just started drinking a little like Good Belly shot here and there, I started feeling way better. My digestion just felt improved too. Like I was just working through things.
You
better.
can't drink one a day?
No, I can.
So you drink that whole
can.
thing
I
like
have been.
tonight?
Oh yeah,
All
right
right.
now. I mean, I'll probably sip it because I'll be fucking
Yeah.
stemmed out talking the whole time. But
We live, David?
Now we are.
Official?
nice.
Official?
We're,
All
on,
right,
we're on
well,
the clock now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Welcome back to the Happy Power Podcast. In whichever form that you're listening, hearing, watching, intaking this content, we appreciate it. Yeah, we're back with Jeff Perry. By popular demand, and Julius. And Julius.
I love it.
And
Yeah, I
Julius.
appreciate all the comments. They wanted me back, and I was just getting DMs too, like, "Yo, you got to do a part 2."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Hands down, the most requested guest to come back.
that's a huge
Obviously,
ego boost.
It's pretty scary how badly they wanted you. Like,
No, yeah, it was urgent almost.
Good,
So I
good.
mean, I told people, I was like, listen, Jeff's a member at the gym. We're gonna get him back. He'll be on the podcast regularly.
Yeah.
But
I'm around.
Yeah, he's around. We got Julius here as well, just to bring entertainment value.
Happy to be back. I have one question before we like officially start. Ever since our podcast, a lot of people have been reaching out, getting me to go in their podcast, and usually when I do, they allow me to adjust.
Yeah, you can adjust
how
the
I want.
shaft there. Yeah,
It's a little too close to my mouth.
adjust the shaft.
Yeah. Make sure to speak
Other,
up.
I think it's the
Chant.
other one. I think it's the big knob.
The big one,
There, watch the
Ooh.
Coca-Cola Classic.
dude.
Precious.
Fuck it.
What are you eating? Did they hear
They,
what he's
they didn't.
eating?
No, they
No,
didn't. So
definitely
this is Shin Noodles by I don't know. I think it's Nongshim. I could be wrong.
Where are they from?
Definitely,
Dude.
it's definitely domestic USA brand.
Oh,
I'm
really?
kidding. I'm kidding.
No, it's
No, just Asian.
yeah.
I mean,
Just
honestly,
an-
just an
English
Asian
stuff there?
cuisine.
I didn't want to say a
French,
specific country.
Japanese, honestly, but dude, my fucking girl loves those.
Yeah.
She gets some from H Mart. I'm like, babe, you're gonna fucking die eating that.
Julius eats how many of these a day?
Honestly, sometimes like 3 a day. I try not to. It's food.
Hey, I've
though.
been there with ramen back in
I
the
mean,
day.
ramen. I fuck with ramen. Yeah. I mean,
It's delicious.
That was back in my gamer days, but I've done it and I'm alive, so.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people.
I actually hear if you do all the shit that Jeff does, it actually coddles your gut. I eat this so I could actually strengthen my gut.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You got to break it down before you build it up, I guess.
Yeah,
Exactly.
because it's like you only realize the real benefits when you come from rock bottom. So
Exactly.
you're on your way there. That's good.
It's one
Jeez.
strategy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we got into a lot of really interesting stuff last time with you, with the gut health. I feel like obviously we can always talk more about that because nobody brings
Definitely.
that much information to the table with that.
Love
And we
it.
all suck.
I
Our
don't-
diets are all subpar at best. Julius is obviously the worst of the worst, but
Okay,
I'm
that's-
I'm only a couple clicks better than him.
I would say, honestly, I know a lot of people bust my balls about it, but I eat moderately healthy.
Dude,
With the
Moderate.
stuff
It's
that
all
I put in my
relative.
yeah.
Depends on the
With
perception.
the stuff that I put in my body.
after the pod with you, I literally bought like a jug of avocado oil. and,
Let's
like,
go.
A case of kombucha.
Hell yeah. Love to hear it.
How's
And
your-
Jeff's looking better, Copeland, since he fucking been cutting out the canola oil and
Oh,
using
yeah.
avocado oil. So, and he said he's feeling better. So,
Yeah, he's been on a fucking PR tear. Everything's
There you
going
go.
well for him. He just bought a new car. I wonder if that had
Did
anything
he?
to do with it. Yeah.
cut seed
Financially,
oils,
he's
you get a better car. Probably
Yeah.
everything upgrades.
fucking. Hey, life is on the up and up.
Yeah.
You guys are also, if you're watching, you're probably wondering why the alcohol collection went from 2 to 19. And that's those are all birthday gifts. Just turned 39 yesterday, so I'm feeling pretty good.
Hell yeah. That's epic. I love it. You're gonna have to go through this quick.
Yeah, it's at least a good week and a half supply.
Oh my god.
Nah, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah.
But yeah, so we'll. I feel like we could continue to talk about the gut health. I know Julius was wondering about Fairlife. I always bust his balls about that. Did we get into that the last podcast at all?
Like a
I don't
little
think
bit.
so.
Fairlife?
No, we didn't. We
Oh,
didn't
you
talk
guys?
much about it.
Yeah, I
About
feel
the
like
horrible new
Fairlife.
research that came out, right?
Yeah.
Horrible research?
Yeah, super bad, bro. It's not looking good for
What-
Fairlife.
what do you mean by that?
It's
Like,
gonna ruin your.
There's a
gut.
reason Sean's off it now. You
Yeah,
hear
I
our
was just
podcast
telling
with
him
Sean.
about it.
Sean's off it.
I saw the clip. He said he still consumes it, right? He just,
Very minimal.
like what? What is his minimal? Like
He probably
one
has like a
day?
glass a day.
Really?
Yeah. It's just for like,
Oh,
just for the taste.
Because it's so bad, he needs like a little microdose to stay alive. Honestly,
I
It's
just
withdrawal.
he's
Yeah.
tapering
I
off.
drink 2 a day.
No, we're kidding, but I will say when I cut out dairy, a lot of things improved.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are dairy intolerant, gluten intolerant. When you cut out just like eating a bunch of bread and gluten and dairy, in synergy with adding some fucking kombucha or probiotics, like usually that's gonna help your gut a lot. And like I feel like a lot of the negative side effects that come from like, or just like why gluten intolerance is so prevalent today is due to like these industrial pesticides. They won't admit it, but there is like a decent amount of research and like it's becoming more and more well known that like just consuming pesticide laden food is fucking up your gut badly.
So basically what Julius is eating right now.
Most
This
likely.
shit.
Yeah, I mean,
This shit, if it tells you
it's
it can
not-
last
I
on the
don't know if it
shelves,
has pesticides, but it's got something in there that's
Yeah.
probably preserved well.
anything that lasts 12 years on the shelf
I don't think
can't
that-
be great.
Didn't
don't-
come from nature.
No.
I don't think it
Can't-
actually lasts 12 years.
I
But
don't
what even
know,
is
dude.
nature at the end of the day? Because if humans were capable of creating it, we are inherent to nature, right? So, I mean, in a sense, you can almost say by creation that was capable of just existing in the first place. It's man-made. Do you understand what I'm saying?
So
Yeah.
we could have achieved this whole group of food by just randomness.
There's a randomness component to the universe
grown
for
out of the
sure,
ground.
but
You know what I mean? Eventually, if you just throw enough shit around, this could be the outcome.
right, I see what you're saying.
I don't mean to go off topic, but did you see that one article? Like this guy, he was cleaning out his room and he found a bag of like McDonald's from like 1968.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the burger looked the same.
Look the same, I bet. Yeah, I've seen stuff like that.
Some other lady
It's
like
wild.
did it on purpose. Like she kept like a regular hamburger. She's ordered a hamburger. Literally looked the same. It was like fucking 20 years later. She unwrapped it. It looked the same as it would. Like it just obviously wasn't warm,
It's
but
a little worrisome. Or like another fucking argument is like you put out like butter or like fast food, like some grass-fed beef versus like the McDonald's burger. Just set it out on the ground outside. When you come back, what are the ants eating? They're eating like the real butter or the real food. You know what I mean? So
Eventually, though, they'll eat the other shit too, right?
maybe. But you could tell one's like premium, one's
You guys think
fucking.
bugs have higher standards than us?
I think they're just they're smarter. We're
Yeah.
just stupid.
We are.
We think we're the
are.
apex predators, but we're idiots.
I know. We're just like slowly killing ourselves.
Yeah.
There's just like enough of us that we're able to advance to this point. I don't
Yeah, there's
know.
too many of us according to some people, but we won't get into that.
We can't get into that.
Yeah.
We'll get blacklisted off of
Yeah.
YouTube. We can't even get any traction before we get
No,
blacklisted.
that's why I want to be like a little cautious.
Yeah.
Because you got to take off first.
That's true.
Yeah.
We're trying to climb the YouTube ladder of success.
So don't be bad and say any bad words.
Yeah,
Because
there's
the
certain-
robot is listening.
guaranteed.
Yeah.
But
It's wild how deep all that algorithm stuff goes. I
Yeah.
mean, it's crazy. Like it's becoming more. Like the mainstream is becoming more aware of like, oh yeah, social media works off algorithms. You know, if you like a post, then they'll probably show you similar posts. But it goes way deeper than that. And like some of these huge companies have some wild data aggregation like protocols. It's crazy.
yeah, it is disturbing.
Yeah,
I know
it's
there
only
was-
going to get worse probably.
There was
And
a guy.
better, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah. But it was like the one dude on like a recent Joe Rogan was talking about like the algorithm and like what this was more so I guess in relation to like ads. But it was like he was like, yeah, it can't. He's like, your phone may be listening. He's like, but it won't, like, it can't necessarily like take what you say and like use it. And I was like, that's bullshit.
Right?
Because I always tell this story. I don't think I've ever told it on the podcast, so it's gonna be.
I feel like I already know what you're about to say, and I just want to say this has happened to me multiple times as
Oh
well.
yeah,
So
this
go
was
go
just
ahead.
the first encounter.
Okay.
This had to be 4 years ago. I'm golfing, poorly by the way, but I stopped at the pro shop thing, doing a whole 9, grabbed a Gold Peak tea and I don't know, some snacks, whatever. Crack open this Gold Peak tea. I think it was like my first Gold Peak tea because I just remember I cracked it, drank it. I'm like, telling my buddy like, this is the best fucking tea I've ever had. Going on like a good minute, like raving about this Gold Peak tea. Not even kidding. Get on my phone like few holes down. I'm like scrolling Instagram. There's a Gold
Boom.
Peak tea ad. Why the
wild.
fuck would there ever be a Gold Peak tea ad on my phone? I've never searched up Gold Peak tea.
Yep.
I'm not even like a tea enthusiast. Like, dude, the only thing that you would have gotten from my life tea-wise was a conversation that was just had 20 minutes ago. Like, so it was like, if it doesn't listen to you, I'm like, come on. Like, I didn't buy the tea and then like check the fucking nutrition facts.
Right.
Like, I just literally told him like, this shit's amazing. Gold Peak tea out on my Instagram.
So do you think like someone is listening to each one of us?
Not someone.
Not a
This
human.
motherfucker. This
Yeah.
phone right here. This shit.
It's data collection.
It's hearing everything right now. We're
Listen,
probably on a
AI
list right now.
Consciousness
They're like
is
they know.
way smarter than humans in certain ways, in left brain ways, just analytical, logical, just like. And that's the thing with like a lot of this AI that's coming about is like some of the top people working on is like kind of even saying like, yeah, we don't know what like it's gonna do. Like there's self-learning machines that are like learning more and more every day, and it's like, is it gonna break away? Is it gonna determine like, hey, these humans are pretty fucking stupid. It's better that we actually have them off this planet. or at least harvest their energy in
Basically,
one way or another, which they already are in a sense, but
Terminator Judgment Day.
it's wild, dude.
Anyone that works in the tech industry, please reach out. We want you on the pod.
Yeah, if we could maybe
go.
get some confirmation. One of my old clients is like he works for Google. He's like a software engineer for Google. I don't know how deep he gets, but I think he's like more so entry level, but still. It was interesting even talking to him about certain stuff. And it's like, I don't know how, again, who knows how deep it goes, but he said that they're very like, they're all like separated, right? All of the teams, they're like separated. So like
he only compartmentalized.
Yeah, exactly. So like they, he only kind of works on, I think it was Google, Google Forms or what is it? Workspace? Do they have like a workspace?
They
Is
have
it called something
Google
like that?
Collab. That's a less popular one, but that's for like coding and whatnot.
Yeah, it was. He was just like a software engineer on like one of the
They have
applications.
a bunch of products. or
Like
apps,
yeah, and it was like crazy. Like he worked with like a small team. They all kind of, interacted. But like he's like, yeah, I don't have any communication with like this group or this group or this group. I'm
That's
like,
how it works.
yeah, and it's like I don't know. I go back to like if you listen to like Rogan, I always refer to Rogan because he's the man. But like when they were talking about like the UFO shit or like the Area 51 stuff, they're like, yeah, everyone's like compartmentalized. So like you can't like what you're doing, you won't know what the other
One
team's
hand is
doing
hidden from the other, 100%.
Yeah.
And that's how like all these major institutions work: military, media, religion, financial institutions. It's like a pyramid of hierarchy and obedience. So
Yeah.
the higher up you are on it, the more you know, the more influence you have down below the pyramid. But it all results in like this obedience to the highest level, and it's all compartmentalized from each other. So one sector doesn't really know what the other sector is doing.
Yeah,
It's wild, dude.
it is interesting. But
Yeah.
yeah, no doubt. I'm confirming right here. Phone's listening. You're getting ads
they
because
are.
you just had the conversation. No doubt.
Yeah.
Like Julius gets nothing but Fairlife ads.
That is true.
It's
probably
nonstop.
true.
That's why he can't stop because it's all he sees.
Yeah.
It's all he knows.
Speaking on the AI too, not to be weird or anything like that. I don't know if you guys noticed the evolution of sex robots.
No, I haven't seen any of that, but
I've
tell us
just
Seen a
more.
little bit on it.
I've
Yeah,
seen
smart.
I've seen ads,
ads.
yeah, on my phone.
I don't know, man. That might be something you're searching.
Nah.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
It's a thing, and there's definitely a reason why it's being propagated. Like, I feel like that's far out. That's more like once everyone's like so inundated in like, virtual reality, augmented reality, like metaverse type stuff. Like, I think just like the divine human connection slowly fading.
That's
and,
what I
like,
was thinking. I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
It seems like over time, like human interaction in real life is just dwindling.
It is.
It's like I don't know. I went to college like a couple of years after high school. It was like 22 when I like went back. Kids even then, this is like 8 years. I don't even fuck. How old? I'm fucking old as shit. This is a while ago. This is like literally 8 years ago, 9 years ago. Kids even then couldn't speak. When we had to do something like the front of the classroom, some type of presentation, even if it was
Right.
it was like a 5-minute presentation on something. It should have been very easy to like ramble on about.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers like were stuttering. They couldn't talk. Like I was like, I didn't give a fuck, and I had to like take over speaking in front of the classroom.
Love
you know what I
it.
mean?
Yeah.
It's like, and I wasn't that much older than, but it was like even like the 5 years behind me, like literally like your generation. How old are you, Jeff?
I'm 25.
So you're like right in the middle, kind of like.
Okay, yeah.
It's like from me, I'm 32 actually, to like now you. I feel like your generation, it was like a hit. You guys, some of the kids that come into the gym now, they're like, what? You're like 18, 19,
Okay, I'm 22.
22.
That's,
You know what I mean? Like, God forbid if they can get a sentence out.
speaking of
It's
that,
just
since-
weird. It's crazy to see. Like I'm like, hey.
I feel like me and Jeff's generation is like the last like punctual.
I mean,
All right,
And
well,
honestly,
I feel like
I'm not-
relatively everyone's gonna say that for themselves.
No, like literally, like I feel like our generation was like the last generation to learn cursive in like elementary.
Right. I
You
feel
guys
that.
still have
And,
that?
like,
Yeah.
First of all,
My first
I
phone was
learned
like a flip
cursive.
phone. You couldn't really go on the internet.
Yeah.
Like, do you,
I mean, you're still texting on it, so that's like the first bridge where it's like the communication's really changing.
You
You're
know
like
about, like-
texting all day.
Me, Dave, and Jeff are not that far in age apart.
you know about like
No, your generation is
like,
horrible.
like,
We're
like,
great.
like the new way they teach math.
No.
I don't.
It's like this really like long-winded way like of how to do like simple math problems. Like if you don't it's like on a test, like you could do it like the correct way, but if it's not the way they teach, you basically fail.
That's how the system's designed, for sure. And I would say the education system's not the most optimal. And I'm not sitting here speaking like, look, I can reform the whole education system, but like there's plenty of stuff in high school that I could just tell was such a waste of time. That's why I didn't even apply myself. And then there's so much that I learned after it that I realized, why aren't they teaching this in high school?
Do you guys remember
real life shit?
Basic financial shit.
Oh,
knowledge,
yeah.
how the system works. They don't want you to know how that whole monetary system works because it's
weird.
so corrupt.
Go ahead, Julius.
Pour some more out. Yeah, what do you got?
You guys remember in school when we would take our test, right? And then they would have that thing to where if you don't show how you got the answer,
Right.
then
Show
the
your
answer would
work.
be incorrect.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, it's fucking 4 times 5. Like, I don't need to elaborate on that.
Yeah, I feel you.
You know,
I'll take some of that.
End of the day, it's all money. It's like, why are college campuses allowed to just have these crazy parties where everyone's clearly drinking underage, but it's on the college campus, so like the police obviously don't really mess with it. But if it's 5 miles outside the campus, some house party, then it's a different story. You know what I mean? It's all money at the end of the day. They're paying so much to be at that school, so they can do that. It's okay. So
yeah, it really does come down to money.
yeah,
That's
everything.
crazy.
Well, they just printed a bunch of more U.S. dollars, so that's more for everyone.
More for everyone, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm joking. It's more for the big guys.
Yeah.
It's broken. We can go into that, too. I don't care. I'm down to talk about whatever.
Yeah, let's get into that. Why are we paying $4.50 a gallon?
Yeah,
I'm about
so
to trade in my truck.
I say before we get into any of this financial stuff, NFTs, crypto, whatever, I just want to say I'm not an expert. I'm new to this stuff. I'm just some random kid you're listening to on the internet. So understand that. Like, if I'm talking about something that seems like it's not, nothing here is financial advice, right?
Yeah.
It's all educational, entertainment purposes only.
Yes.
Just because I'm talking about something with conviction doesn't mean you should go put your money there. Everyone needs to do their own due diligence, their own research. Some of what I'm saying could even be wrong. So, yeah.
Yeah,
I just
put
wanna
the
put that out there.
disclaimer up, David. This is not
Big bar.
not
yeah.
financial advice. We are not financial experts.
Yeah.
We're not lawyers.
Entertainment value only.
I will
Yeah,
tell you what,
100%.
though. Eating a lot of these noodles will save you a lot of money. That's financial advice.
Until you're paying
Your
absurd hospital bills.
your
Yeah.
health bills.
Yeah. You got good insurance, bro? You should
Yes,
look
sir.
into that. Okay.
I got that Blue Cross, baby.
There you go. So, yeah, gas is pretty expensive. There's definitely a number of reasons, but, I mean, one of the biggest reasons is in 2020, I don't know if you guys pay attention to the financial markets at all, but in March of 2020, there was like a massive crash in the markets, like just a huge capitulation. Everything dumped down hard. Bitcoin was like $3,900 at the bottom. Ethereum was like $80.
What was this?
March of 2020, so like 2 years ago.
Damn.
Yeah, dude.
I feel like that was not
Yeah, it shook everyone out. I mean, the big institutions are constantly shaking people out.
Yeah.
Like, and it's all coordinated with like the mainstream news and everything. It's really wild. And like Wall Street has access to all this news like 15, 20, 30 minutes before like it goes public. And they're all positioning themselves. It's wild what they do, bro. But basically, the Federal Reserve started printing money. I don't know if you know, the Federal Reserve is privately owned. But they said, all right, we need to increase the amount of money being printed. And it basically is like, if you look back into all past empires that ever failed, like all fiat currencies like don't last much more than like 100 years. Fiat currency just being like a type of like the US dollar is a fiat currency, or like other like the Thai baht, right? Thailand currency, whatever. They don't last like too much more than 100 years generally. And when like right now the US dollar is the world reserve currency. And so that means that all other countries like are essentially like betting on the US dollar, or like that's their reserve currency. So that's like very beneficial for us. It's like a lot of their like energy is essentially like being backed by our currency, if that makes sense. Like Michael Saylor, he's this guy, he's the CEO of MicroStrategy. He's super into Bitcoin.
Yeah. And
one way he described money, which I thought was really cool, is he goes, money is socio-economic energy, which it really is at the end of the day, right? It's just an agreed upon means of like value.
Yeah.
And it is socioeconomic energy. It is energy. Why? It's like, how long will you work for me? Will you drive me to where I want to go? will you cook me dinner for the rest of your life type of thing? Because everyone's just exchanging their own physical cellular energy for money in a sense, right? So people with a lot of money, they have that, they can call upon other people's energy to work for them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when you when you look at it that way, and then you see, okay, the Federal Reserve just increased the amount of US dollars in the entire system by 40%, like things just aren't adding up. And I saw all this in 2020. I have plenty of stories in my archive where I can go back and I'm like saying, like, look at what the Federal Reserve is doing. They're printing a bunch of fucking money. The US dollar value is going to go down because there's more dollars in existence, and prices are going to go up. I've been saying this since 2020, and it doesn't take an expert to say that either. I'm not saying like, oh, I called it, but I did. But it's like, it's pretty fucking obvious when you look into it. Think about it this way. Like, you come here and we have 20 weightlifting belts here. And, you know, let's say there's, this is a horrible analogy, but I'm just going to finish it anyways. Yeah. Let's say there's 30 lifters, right? So, okay, like, you know, those belts are pretty sought after. We all need them to lift. So, like, we're willing to exchange whatever, like, you know, this X amount for them. And then all of a sudden, someone comes and drops off fucking 30 more belts. Oh, okay, well, the supply of belts just doubled. Now the demand is way down because everyone has what they need, if that makes sense. So now what they're willing to exchange for the belts is much less, if that makes sense.
That's pretty good analogy.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
So it's like, if there's more US dollars being printed and the government airdrops you 1,200, right? There's this huge P word. I don't even want to say that. There's this huge situation going on. And like, the government is printing trillions of dollars. It's fine.
Yeah, we can't say that. No.
There
goes all our views.
Do you think I'm kidding?
No. Yeah, it will.
I'm listening.
I forget. Like, yeah, there was another podcast. They had like something like that, and they literally took this shit down. But yeah,
there's been plenty of things that have been taken down that talk about this type of stuff. Yeah, that I personally witnessed or saved in things that I'm, you know, just certain sources that I'm saving. You go back, oh, it's deleted. Huh? I wonder why. Right? It's so fucking obvious. But like, yeah, dude, it's bad.
I mean, were you got more on that?
I kind of forget where I was at, honestly.
Well, just to kind of bring up, like, I was like watching a video of the Michael Saylor, right?
Yeah.
He was talking about, like, due to like how the value of the dollar is coming down so much. Basically, like, if you don't, like, if you're investing, right? Like, I remember, like, I don't know, mutual funds, whatever it may be. If like you were getting like 10% returns, right? That was kind of like, that was pretty good, right? You're making 10% on your money. He said if you're not making, like, if you're making 10% right now, he's like, you're actually losing money.
You're
like,
losing buying power. You might not be losing US dollars, but you need to realize those dollars are buying less. You're losing buying power every fucking year.
Which is like crazy to think about, right? You're like, what the fuck? You're like, if you're investing in, I don't know, mutual funds, whatever it may be, like, if it's not more than 10%, it's like that value of that money is actually decreasing.
Yeah, what you can buy with it. It's crazy. Because everyone looks at US dollars, $1 equals $1. $1 gets me this. When you look back 10, 20 years ago, those dollars got you way more than they got today because there's more dollars in the system.
Yeah.
So also what he's saying is like, yeah, if you're not invested in assets, you're getting wrecked. So like the common like lower middle class person right now is getting absolutely demolished. All of the people at the top who have billions or at least millions of dollars in assets, they're at least outpacing inflation, if not doing better on it. Because when you print so much new money, then assets, obviously the US dollar valuation of them is going to go up, right? It makes sense because there's more dollars in the system.
Yeah. That's what I don't get, though. I'm like, how does it get to the point where we're just like, all right, we can't fucking print no more money? How do we just keep printing
They just keep
more?
going.
That's
That's
the
thing like, is they'll never stop because they can't at this point. Until the empire of the U.S. falls, which in my opinion is coming eventually. Like, China is like kind of, you know, on its way up.
Wait,
I'm not saying.
What was it?
I'm saying
like,
that U.S. dollars are on their way out. They're printing them until I don't know what's going to happen. There's so much.
You said an apocalypse or something?
No, I said the empire of the U.S. kind of falls as like the U.S. dollar being the world reserve currency, you know, XYZ type of thing. Because all these empires, like if you look back, what's his name? Some high-level financial guy has a good video on this, just like world powers over the years, like they can only last so long. Like it's kind of like a universal law too. It's like all things return to their original state eventually. So, like, we can't remain the superpower forever. And I know there's so many people watching this that are not willing to accept that. But I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm not saying it's happening tomorrow or even in 10 years, but like, the U.S. dollar is going down. I can tell you that much.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. It's not looking good.
It's not looking good.
Like, if you're like actually like, I don't even keep up with it to the point of like being able to speak on it like with full confidence. But let's be honest, shit's not looking good. Like, there's so many things right now that you're just like, what is going on? Like, the last couple years, obviously, but like, I mean, I don't know.
So when you do,
Can I get another shot of that Makers?
Empire of America,
Oh, me, I'll drink you now.
Fall into
I'll
like
take
apocalyptic status, or just like third world status, or just like things will be a lot rougher. Like,
Neither of those. I just think there's going to be a new world power eventually. Probably in my lifetime.
What do you think it'll be?
Couldn't say. Don't wanna
No
speak on that.
opinions?
I think there's a lot of big guys working together that are from many different countries. I'm not saying guys as just like men, but like if you look at what a lot of these big institutions, like, I regret to say these words on here, but like World Health Organization, the United Nations,
FAFSA.
the World Economic Forum, Council of Foreign Affairs or something like that. If you look at all what they're doing, positioning, it's looking bearish for human rights.
Does look a little weird, right?
And the thing is, it's all compartmentalized. We're all in our little own U.S. state. We're all in our just this tiny little box of perception. We don't really know what's going on in like most of the other world, except for what we're being fed on the news, like what they want us to know what's going on, right? So we're all in our own state. It's like, oh, like, to a relative perception on here, it's like, oh no, things are getting better. The mandates are gone. Like, things are getting better. Okay, hopefully things are looking up. It's like, no, this is just a cyclical thing that's going around. Or like, look at what's going on in China right now. Like, the lockdowns are absolutely insane. And a lot of the food supply. Yes, badly, bro. There's some crazy videos I've seen. They're like bagging up cats and shit, like in just these huge sacks of like bunch of cat. Like, they're doing some crazy stuff. They're
like
beating people
up in the street.
Yeah, people are getting beat up all the day. But
it's 10:30. It's Saturday, April 30th. So anything happens to us,
yeah, there you go.
I don't think we're on that level yet.
If I kill myself, it wasn't me, I swear. But no, that's not yet.
Yeah, I got to start watching the news again.
Yeah.
Kind of gave up a while ago.
we heard about those like 18 like food plants that like recently
Yes,
caught fire.
this is something I want to mention. There's a lot of food plants that are catching fire all of a sudden. There's,
Really?
yes, like a lot of them. You said 18?
Like it was like 18. 19.
It's many, all within a few week or month period. There's some disease spreading on a bunch of chickens right now. So millions of chickens have been slaughtered. So it's looking really weird. Like they're setting up for some crazy like food shortage or squeeze in food prices.
We're talking about like 2023, like summer 2023.
And then this is how they pitch all the estrogenic fucking GMO soy food, right? Because it's like, oh well, we don't have enough to feed you guys real food, so here's our new product, and then that's how they transition this.
We heard about them also talking about like promoting like people eating insects, like an insect-based diet.
I don't think
They're promoting that.
Yeah, like
I mean, I don't think that's a
Thailand's
bad idea.
been doing that shit forever.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
like Bill Gates has been like talking heavy about that
Bill
It's
Gates.
wild.
because like he owns a lot of farmland now.
He owns a lot of pesticided out GMO farmland and not
Biggest
organic.
I think he's like the largest farmland owner in the United
Yep.
States, if not the world.
Yeah. He also donates more to the WHO than the U.S. does.
Really?
Yeah.
Yo, he's the most suspect individual on the planet, in my opinion.
There's a lot going on. And what you got to wonder is who's suspect that you don't even think is suspect.
Elon Musk is going to buy Amazon next.
Is he? I don't think he can afford
don't
that.
think.
But that's a good person to bring up next too. I mean, I'm not here to like talk about certain individuals like too much, but I
Yeah.
mean, that is one individual who I think most people think he's just like a great guy. He's like,
Who, Elon?
He's a genius. He's way smarter than anyone I know. He's way smarter than me in a lot of ways. He's working on some next gen technology and like technological advancements that I can't even fathom that probably have many, many benefits for humanity. But people are definitely easily manipulated into thinking that he's like on the other side, right? Like there's such thing as controlled opposition. Like if you look into his family, you know, his mom was like on like mainstream television from 1 year old. Like they're these high level families. Or if you just research elite bloodlines, you see how, you know, you just see how things slowly turn out over, like, what's the word? Like, just certain families and high-level individuals that are involved in highly corrupt activity. They're all like groomed over their life to be a part of the system. And their life's on the line at all times. I'm not saying like, oh, if Elon does this, then someone's going to kill him. I'm just saying like, you know, look into his family. Then you also look in like with his brother. Like he's into like this whole like weird farm thing, and he's kind of on like the other side. He's saying like a lot of contradictory things. Like he was like kind of bashing Trump. Like, not to even get political, I'm not even making any claims about like I support anyone in politics. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like I'm just saying he was bashing Trump, like saying like for all this, like saying he shouldn't have free speech. And then now, oh, Elon's buying Twitter. Now his all tweets are like, oh, like this is awesome for free speech. And I also think that this is a deception, because it's like, first, I'm going to buy Twitter and get rid of the bots and free speech, which is awesome. That would be sick. Great. Mm-hmm. But then what's also part of that plan is human verification, verifying every individual that uses the site. And again, this next gen AI technology is advancing. It's only going to get more controlling, in my opinion. And like, people fail to see, they think he's just such a good guy because he made fun of Bill Gates for being fat. It's like, they're probably working together in some sense. Like,
his
that's
tweets,
such a big claim, but it's like, at the highest level, that controlled opposition is actually very important to keeping people in a certain brain imbalanced state, if that makes sense.
His tweets do crack me up, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Elon's,
exactly.
You know, he I don't know if this is true. I haven't like actually fact checked this, but like the first day he owned Twitter, there's this like rapper YBN Namir, and he took away his verified mark. For like, I mean, I think.
Are you sure that's true? Because I saw one where it was like, Bill Gates, this account has been suspended. It was like, first day, Elon's already at it. I go look into, he wasn't banned.
Yeah.
It was like a joke. It was like photoshopped. I was like, oh.
And it could be photoshopped, but I know he did do a few things. Mm-hmm. But I just thought that was funny. I don't know.
You have to understand
his
too.
tweets are funny though.
Yeah, they are, and that's the point. He has so much energy that he can, at his fingertips, he can get this many amount of people's like watch time and have an impression on their psychology, which then did you hear the Elon tweet? And it's this cascading effect. And he knows that. He has all this high level knowledge about psychology. Yeah. He's never going to talk about any of it.
All about the vibrations.
They all do up there. Yeah. And it's wild because it's like, he's not an idiot. He's so smart. Has this high level knowledge that 99.9% of the world does not have.
I have a question. Do you think it is unreasonable to say that he is possibly an alien?
I think anything's possible, but he definitely exhibits some odd AI-like behavior. I'm not saying he's a fucking robot, or it's like, how do we even define alien too, right? It's just such a deep question.
E.T., like Katy Perry said.
He's definitely a high-level human in the fact that he has high-level knowledge that most people don't, and he's using it to his advantage, obviously, as anyone would, pretty much. But it's like, he's not an idiot, but it's like when he bought Bitcoin, right? And then there was at this one point where, you know, huge fucking dump to the downside, and it's like, because like news came out that he sold 10%, right? Oh, Elon's selling Bitcoin. Everyone sell, right? It liquidates a bunch of long traders, which I can explain what that means too. And so it's like push on mainstream. And then after he comes out, he goes, yeah, this was only to prove liquidity. Like, I only sold 10% to prove liquidity. It's like, bro, you're smarter than that. You know there's liquidity. Look at the exchanges. Look at the markets. Look at the daily trading volume. You know you could have sold 10%. It wasn't to prove liquidity. It was to manufacture a response that makes a lot of people money and makes a lot of idiots lose money. It's that simple.
So you think he sold it to have everyone drop it, and then the bigger players buy more, and then
right? It's all like, he goes, I might pump, but I don't dump. Like when he's talking about Dogecoin, it's like, yeah, maybe you didn't sell it, but your boys know, everything knows what's going on. The high level money that you are intertwined with, like you obviously know what's going on. Like when I can get into like my first fucking beginnings in the financial markets, it's only been a few years. Like I got in right before the 2020 whole crazy situation was going on.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, this might be a long conversation, but it'll explain like my perception of it at least. So
let's hear it.
First, I'm sitting outside the YMCA. I hear about this app, Robinhood. I download it. Like I never really knew much about stocks, and I'm like looking at like Inovio Pharmaceuticals, like It was like right around this whole time when the C situation was going down, and I see the stock, and I didn't even know that the stock market opened at 9:30 a.m. Like I just didn't know anything at this time, and I'm looking at it. I see it's like $8.04, and I see it like jump up 5, 6, and it's like pumping, and it's like $8.12, and I'm like, wait, what the hell? I'm like, so if for every $8 I had in this stock, I would have just gained like 6 cents, and that's when it started to click to me. I was like, holy shit, like, so I could have just made money by clicking a button, and I was like, okay, this is something I need to look into. And then so I just started learning more and more. Does what every first person does when you start learning about like financial markets, like try to trade a little bit. You get wrecked because you have no clue what you're doing. Like, I didn't lose that much, but you just don't really know what you're doing. You have minimal knowledge to use to your advantage, and so then I kind of got into pour them up some more. Let's go.
Kid's thirsty.
And so then I started getting into just like kind of
lightweight.
accumulating like crypto and like messing with some stocks, because there was these crazy movements going on right around this 2020 time when everyone was getting wrecked out of their money, obviously, and shaken out. Like everything's going to zero, sell, and then boom, V-shaped recovery. It's like, it's wild. And so I was seeing these crazy moves in the stock market, like 400% a day, 600, 1200%. And you're like, this 12x in one day, like what's going on here? Like this isn't right. Like something's wrong here. And there was just so much money flowing around, so much going on that like I kind of just like knew like, okay, I have to learn more about this, because if I can just like click a button and make money, like I'm going to do that. Right?
Yeah, that's
like,
right when I kind of got into it all too.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's cool. So I guess where do I move forward? So, I mean, well, here's something funny. When I was messing around at that time, I had I bought at one point like 1.1 million Dogecoin for like, $4,000.
Yeah.
And then within a year, I think I ended up selling that for like a small loss. Again, I'm still trading on Robinhood. I have no clue about technical analysis or like analyzing charts, like using indicators and stuff like that, like price charts with candlesticks and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just like looking at the line chart on Robinhood, like trying to, where's it gonna go? Right? Like that's the majority of people, and that's how you lose money. Yeah. And where's that money from the majority of the people go? To the big guys with the fucking bots and the algorithms. That most of the stock market trading is actually bots, by the way. It's algorithms.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
So we're fucked.
You're getting wrecked unless you're smart enough to do what the opposite of the normal average retard doing, right?
Yeah.
If you're on, because the institutions can't really force you to not be on their side, if that makes sense. So if you're smart enough, they're going to do everything in their power to make sure that you're on the dumb money side. But if you gain enough knowledge, you can at times be on the winning side. I don't want to say good side, but the winning side, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so that 1.1 million Dogecoin, like a year later, ended up, Doge went up to 78 cents. That would have been worth like over $800,000. And so I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck? Like 4K into $800,000. And there's so many people saying like, oh, dude, you must regret that so much. You shouldn't have sold. It's like partially, yeah. But then another methodology is like, at the time, like $4,000, that was like 40% of all the money I had. I'm not going to leave that. I was playing around day trading. I'm not going to leave that in some meme coin that like they can just make more of, like an infinite supply, like, for a year. So it's like, methodology wise, I don't regret it, but it showed me what the type of gains that are capable of being made, if that makes sense.
Oh, for sure. That's Doge was kind of like the first thing I started fucking with too. Doge was like the first thing. I might have been on like TD Ameritrade with some like normal stocks before that. Would play around a little bit. Like Ken's dad's like got some like he's like really into it, so like I would kind of just like take advice from him, be like buy a little bit, whatever he would say, I'd be like fuck it, I'll buy a little bit of that. So that was going okay, but then the Dogecoin thing happened, and I think I got in. Shit, when did I get in? I think I got in decently early at like 4 cents. And then I think I got in again at like 7 cents. I think I only put like $1,000 in total. Yeah. But like I ended up making like $4,500.
That's nice, right?
So like I got out and I was like, yo, I'm good. Like I was kind of hanging around for a while, but then I was like, fuck it, I'm out. I'm gonna make some money. And I got out.
Good to pay yourself. You have to take profits.
Exactly. Yeah. Like honestly, if I would have done it sooner, I could have been like 8 G's up.
Right.
But whatever. I still was in the positive. And then I took that money, invested in some other things. But like, I don't know. Most of the
I'm sorry to interrupt. I gotta go take a take a piss.
Do
That's
your
cool.
thing, man. Jesus. God,
Yeah, right?
Settle down.
Yeah, and that's so like my entry on that 4K position was 1/3 of a cent. It was before Elon ever talked about it. It's like that's where you want to be buying when the attention's not there, but you've done your research and I'm not saying at the time like Doge was a great buy. Like there wasn't much hope for it. It was like a meme. It's a joke, right? But it's like you want to be buying the lows. You want to be buying when everyone's fearful and selling.
Yeah.
And you want to sell when the mainstream dudes around here say, yo, you hear about Dogecoin in the mainstream media news? I might buy some. Like, yeah, sure, bro. Buy some and give me my exit liquidity. Buy from me because I'm selling for a 75x while you're buying the top and you're about to get wrecked. So.
Yeah. That was the thing. Is like I got in like late really, but I was still ahead of like the majority.
The majority of the FOMO. So you could still get a profit.
Yeah. Like I mean, shit. Right when I got in is when it went on that fucking tear all the way up to like, it was up to what 80 something,
78 cents.
78,
on the exchange.
And then like I was like waiting around. I'm like trying to hold, and then once it got down to like a certain point, I'm like, fuck this. I'm taking profits.
Right.
Like I'm not trying. I mean, anything's better than
If you're
nothing.
still green, it's good to secure something.
That's
right?
That's what I mean. I was like, I don't know. Like I don't even understand this shit enough.
Especially if you don't know what's going on.
Yeah. So, and I think like, that's probably what majority of people should do because, I mean, it's just like anything else. Like I got caught in the whole like Shiba Inu fucking.
I never bought any.
See,
of that.
like I didn't for the first like wave. I was like, that's bullshit. Like somebody's literally just somebody's taking a meme coin and copying it. Like that's like
Every
the worst
day.
of the worst, right? Now it's like the norm, but like so I think I threw like $500 at the Shiba Inu, lost like a couple $100,
Right.
just pulled out. You know what I mean? I was like, fuck it, I'll take my 300 out. Whatever. But now I've learned like I don't know the whole like shit coins.
It's not where you want to be.
No.
You want to be accumulating legitimate coins that have a like legitimate future behind them, that they're actually developing some legitimate tech.
Yeah.
Once you've accumulated those for a while and you're taking some profits on those, sure, if you want to throw some, dollars into fucking meme coins because it might hit a 75x, it's not a bad like play risk management wise, as long as it's a tiny percentage of your portfolio. And for that's going to be different for every person because it depends what they're trying to do, where they're at in life. How much do they need the money they're investing? Hopefully not at all. Hopefully they're ready to lose it, right?
Yeah.
So
it should be like that does everyone whoever like if you listen to any of the big like YouTubers are like make sure it's money that you're willing to risk like losing because like
if you need
there's
that
a good
to pay
chance you
rent
will
next month.
Yeah.
You're gonna be emotional about it and make a bad decision.
Let's not bet
the house,
apartment rent,
the farm,
mortgage, car payment. Like let's not do that.
I'm wrecked. Right now.
Dude, right now
I'm down 50% in the past
right
few
now,
weeks.
Are you still in V-Chain?
Yeah. Oh, I'm holding V-Chain hard, buddy.
Dude, I'm fucking depressed looking at V-Chain.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean,
it's all bad.
They're
right
down
now,
from
really.
all them highs, fucking up to 80%, if not more. They can keep going. Trust me, buddy. Get ready. Like,
Do you sense any bullish movement? Do you sense any breakthroughs,
it's
or-
so hard. So like right now, I mean, the market's dumping as we film this. It's so hard to say, bro. I can sit here and say, well, there's a huge order block at 30K. There's so much buying power there. Like, it's never going to go below 30K again. Well, what happens when it goes to 31K and all those huge institutions pull those orders from the books and then they dump it further to make everyone capitulate and sell? That's a possibility. Anything's possible. This could also be the bottom. We're all key support of this huge, like almost like bull flag that we're creating over the past few years. Like we're right at the bottom. It's kind of a smart entry to some degree. Mm-hmm. Not to go all in right here because it could easily come down. There's people calling for 13K Bitcoin. I don't think that's going to happen, but I also can't say it's definitely not going to happen. I don't think it will. I don't think there's enough. There's just too many new buyers and participants in the market for it to get that low, in my opinion. Things could reverse within the next couple months. Or we could go into like a bear market where it takes like a while to recover and people get choked out. So it's I can't make any claims,
Yeah.
Buy
it's
now,
like,
up only. It's like
I don't know. It's so hard to say.
But I know that at least like Bitcoin, Ethereum, like they will go back up. Mm-hmm. They will hit all-time highs. If you look at Bitcoin on a logarithmic chart, logarithmic basically means that like the increases are exponential, if that makes sense. So like from 2 to 4 cents is the same amount of space on the chart from 4 to 8 cents. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you look at a chart on a logarithmic basis, you see that Bitcoin tends to trend up over time. Over the 10, 11 years it's existed, it's only trended up. And now there's been periods where it went from 20K down to 3,900, and you think, well, I'm down fucking 80, 90% of my money. This is going to zero.
Yeah.
But if you look on that logarithmic chart, it tends to trend up over time.
Yeah, because then it went back up to like fucking 70, right?
Yeah,
or something
68.
crazy. Yeah.
And there's something called the Bitcoin halving. So every 4 years, the amount of Bitcoin rewarded for mining blocks, like finishing blocks of like the data, is cut in half. So every 4 years, you generally see this massive squeeze in price due to the halving, due to less Bitcoin just being liquid coming into the supply. And like Bitcoin's getting eaten up off the exchanges. Like, you know what I mean? It's the same thing as like 5 years ago, people are saying, dude, in 5 years, like getting one Bitcoin's going to be hard. And there's so many people saying, yeah, right, bro. It's like a few $1,000, whatever, get out of here. And now that's the reality. People are happy to get 0.1 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And in 5, 10 years, after another halving or two, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be, you're going to be working hard to get 0.1.
Yeah.
So
you're trying to say every 4 years, Bitcoin kind of like cannibalizes itself?
in a sense, just because like less Bitcoin is being introduced into the supply. Like 19 million out of 21 million Bitcoiners already mined. If that makes sense. And then there's probably 4 to 6 million, some people postulate, that's lost forever because they're on wallets that can't be recovered, or they were sent to like the wrong address and it can't be recovered because of like how the blockchain technology works. So that is going to aid in the illiquid supply on exchanges, if that makes sense. And so it's like the less that's available to buy on exchanges, this works for any, obviously, like stock or crypto, is like the higher the price can go. Because think about it this way, another gym analogy. Let's say there's 30 people here with a belt and they're all for sale and you want to come rent a belt or whatever. Well, if 10 of those people go home, they go take their belt home. They want to hold on to their belt. They don't want to lend it out, or they don't want to sell it rather, right? Now there's only 20 belts here. So if the belts are listed in prices of like $5, then the next one's $10, then $20, then the next one's $40, it only takes a few buys for that the next cheapest belt to be $40, $50. So it works the same on exchanges. The less coins that are available on the order book for purchase, the easier it is to pump the price up. Because all you got to do is just buy those minimum sales, and then the next order there could be expensive.
And that's why like Bitcoin is like what it is, because there's a limited amount of supply, right? Like whereas if people are like completely new to the whole crypto thing, like Bitcoin, there's so many, right? 21 million, right?
Exists.
Just keep it easy. 21 million. Whereas like a lot of these other coins, like they're constantly being made, or there's like a, a certain amount that are released every so often. So that's why the Bitcoin price tends to like only increase depending on, I guess,
over time. It's also just like a hardcore protocol that's been beaten on for years that people kind of are starting to realize, like, okay, maybe this can't really be cracked. Again, maybe, who knows, with quantum computing, like I don't know what that's capable of achieving, but if it's going to take down the Bitcoin network somehow, then it's probably going to be capable of fucking our bank accounts in the same fashion. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's why when you're investing in projects, you also have to look into the tokenomics. It's like, are you buying a meme coin that the supply is literally infinite, and the creator of the coin can just say, hey, I want to mint 20 million more of my doggy coins and instantly sell them to you and dump the price and take all your money that you just put in? That's a possibility. That happens every day. People aren't paying attention. They buy coins or they get scammed. They don't realize what they're doing. So you got to be careful.
Yeah, it's tough. I feel like most of the time it's just like all hype train.
Oh, yeah.
When you get in, being smart enough to get out, and then investing in like the real projects like Ethereum, Bitcoin.
And again,
Cardano.
if you're buying Ethereum right now, you're still paying, what is it? It's up from like $250 to, well, from 80 at the low to $3,000. How many X's are you still buying into up here? You have to be aware of that. Now, will ETH go to 10K? Almost definitely, in my opinion, eventually.
Yeah.
So if you're dollar cost averaging, buying X amount every week or every month or every day, a few bucks a day, then you're going to be averaging down. So even if the price goes down, you shouldn't care, if you're dollar cost averaging, because you're waiting for it to be high. You don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen eventually. If you have conviction, you've done your due diligence and research, and you think the project has promise, you can buy ETH at 3K right now, a few $100, and then next week, if ETH's at 2,500, you don't go, oh, I'm down my money. No, you just buy a little more because you're buying it for cheaper. You're getting more coins for cheaper. You're averaging down your average cost. And if you just keep doing that in bearish times where prices are going down, eventually when it turns around, you're averaged into such a low position or low entry price that you're in an amazing position instead of waiting for it to pump and then buying the 40% candle. It's like, what do you think's going to happen, bro?
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe it does keep going, but then are you going to get out in time? Like, if you're chasing pumps, you're probably going to get wrecked. You only chase pumps in the gym, guys, all right? Not in the markets.
Yeah, for sure. But so I feel like, we've been on the crypto thing for a while. I feel like you also have like a lot of knowledge in the NFT game, right?
Yeah, a bit. I'm learning every day. And some of the technical stuff, like,
I don't get it.
You don't get it? I'm down to give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it to a degree.
Yeah.
Like, I understand everything's going digital, and I understand, like, this digital asset is now, like, yours because of the blockchain But, like, I don't know. For me, like, talking about some of the – I feel like within, like, the fitness community, you also have a lot of, like, people that are interested in NFTs and, like, crypto. Half the time I'm talking to people about gym shit. Half the time I'm talking about, like, crypto and NFTs.
Love it.
But it's, like – to decipher what's like a good project, what's not. I don't know. People are like, you got to be on Twitter, you got to be following this page, and you got to be on their Discord. And I'm like, dude, like, I don't got time for all this shit.
You actually don't, like, realistically.
Yeah.
And I'm the last person to like say like, oh yeah, you don't have time, right? Because it's like, if something's important enough, like, anyone's gonna make time.
Yeah.
But you're a fucking gym owner. You're doing a million things. You're managing meets. You're managing clients. And I will say, trading NFTs, if you want to do it properly, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of staring at trends, seeing what people are doing, where prices are going, constantly checking the prices, and just gaining knowledge on how the whole thing works.
Yeah, because now it's like, I feel like everyone's has their own NFT, right? Like, I'm big on UFC. UFC has NFTs. You got like fucking, I don't know, Logan Paul and all these fucking influencers, they have NFTs. And you got
NFL, every big institution.
All the major sports, like, I don't know, it's like everywhere. You just hear like NFT gets brought up. So it's like.
So what's an NFT?
It's a non-fungible token. So what does that mean? All it means is that it's non-fungible, meaning it's non-similar. So a fungible token is like Bitcoin. Let's say I have 1 Bitcoin, you have 1 Bitcoin. For the record, I have 0 Bitcoin right now, and there's a reason for that. But let's say I have 1 Bitcoin, you have 1 Bitcoin. Those are fungible tokens. The data set behind those on the blockchain is the exact same. There's no difference between them. They're fungible. They're the same. A non-fungible token is a token that's stored on the blockchain, but it's got a unique set of data. So it's unique. It's different than the other non-fungible tokens, right? Does that make sense? That's all it really means.
Wait, so serious question, right? I've seen these NFTs, and they're like images, right?
Yes.
Can I just take a screenshot of that?
So it depends. What do you want? Do you want the picture on your camera roll, or do you want ownership on the blockchain that your wallet address actually owns that token?
Is that what you're selling, the ownership of it?
Yeah, so you're holding an actual token, which, again, at the end of the day, what is it? It's just a data set stored in ether space online on the blockchain. But it's stored in a decentralized manner, depending on which blockchain, like which ecosystem you're on.
Yeah.
It's stored in a decentralized manner, meaning that no one owns or controls the protocol that goes into verifying ownership of the asset. So with Bitcoin, there's validator nodes, and there's a bunch of different computers online. There's people across the world that are running code on their computer to verify the integrity of the Bitcoin network. So it's not centralized. Does that make sense? Keep drinking, bro. I love it. I want to see.
I got to train in when we're finished.
I don't think that's a good idea. All right, guys. We're going to cut it here for part 1 with Jeff Perry. Got a lot of information, so we're going to split it up this time. We will see you in the next episode, part 2, where we'll continue the crypto NFT talk. All right, guys, we're back at it, part 2. Jeff Perry, NFTs, crypto, all the things. If you guys aren't sure about these topics, make sure you tune into the part 2. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying right now.
There you go. I'm thinking too, like, instead of like doing like part 1 to part 2, like back to back, maybe like
Split them up.
So that way it's like, at least we keep it like something refreshing. 'Cause I feel
Yeah.
like, even though the